made that? Did you made that? Did you made that?
Silent Hill TDS, J. Leo, Hitchhikers, check. I'ma spit fire and propane. Keep a little baggie of some veggies, your romaine. Zombie ass bitch tryna eat up the whole brain. While this bummy ass nigga still asking for more change. Get your taste buds lit, pop 'em right under your tongue. Lighten up a sharp strain, feel like it's chopping your lungs. Smoke another leaf to the head, feeling like Danny Phantom. Got a medicine jar in my car full of zany samples. Running with the factions when my rations getting low. Get down on the floor, blood races like I'm whipping blow. Shit show for show, I don't know, I just release and go. Can't hear what you're saying, this we too loud and you're speaking low. Johnny smoking haze, ain't a blaze, I got heat to throw. Then I'm let the heater flow and send you to the heat below. Think it's a game, I pick the day before you let him roll. Think I'm insane, but from the start I never had control. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale of the moonlight? Have you ever laid with a demon with the flames by your bedside? Smoking the air, sipping on spirits, get the mood right, get the crew hype. Middle fingers to the blue lights, dancing on your grave while I gaze into the moonlight.
Rolling through the city, heart is empty, but I'm feeling frisky, knowing I can make it even though these niggas want it in me. Got some rolling papers and some bitches, yeah, we getting litty, feeling out of place. Fuck it, I got my niggas with me. We on a long road, smoking trees and bagging hoes. Love is faded, I'm jaded, consequences are never told. Running out of character, the real me is getting old. Facing the facade, 50 shades, and I fall below. I'm on some new shit, underworld a new bitch. Your loose lips tangle you up, I guess this news fits. I do this, spitting some fire in F doom hits. The sun god bringing some light, now watch your mood switch. Hieroglyphs when writing scripts, now my stable conquering. Conjuring some spirits in the valleys where they die and quit. Just a gladiator on a righteous tip, still sharp and steel, but I'm colder than the Arctic gets.
What's up now? It's your boy Wildcard Martin in the building. You know what time it is. Episode 1, Deuce. I.O.W. Sports Late Night Owl Edition with your boy Wildcard Martin. As always, you see it's going on the bottom of your screen. That's the homie 40 Water, aka Silent Hill TDS. Him and the homie J. Leo Pelmo Devil Dance, the official and unofficial theme song to the Late Night Owl, a sports edition of I.O.W. Sports. So you see it's growing, like I said. Make sure you check my guy out on YouTube. Hitchhikers page on YouTube. So there's the address scrolling right there. Go show some support. As always, y'all going over to your respective app stores, whether it's the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Download the I.O.W. Network app. Yep, it is an app. We got an app, y'all. But go show some love, support. Go do that. Of course, we're everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts at. We are there. We also got, of course, a YouTube page, I.O.W. Sports Network. Like, share, subscribe. If you could, spread the word what we doing around here, I.O.W. Sports Network. Of course, we got the Facebook page as well as the actual public Facebook page where you, as the viewer or listener, have the opportunity to give a sports take, spark a conversation, network, all that stuff. Of course, we got the Twitter as well as the Instagram pages. So we are everywhere. Yes, we are I.O.W. Sports. Yes, we are everywhere. But now that we got all the stuff that pays the bills out the way, let's get down to business. I actually got a different Wildcard Mart, top play of the day. It is something that I came across. For those, I watch hockey. I'm not as indulgent of it as I am football or NBA or even baseball, but I've always kept my eyes on hockey. Um, and I don't know if anybody know this, but Willie O'Ree was broke a lot of barriers, and coming off the heels of course, Martin Luther King Day. I feel like it's necessary to share this great story of Willie O'Ree. So if you do bear with your boy, we're gonna have we're gonna chop it up a little bit about Mr. O'Ree. All right.
Of the ultimate trailblazers in American sports. Willie O'Ree was the first black player in the NHL back in 1958. He is now 86 years young, and tomorrow O'Ree's number 22 is being retired by the Boston Bruins. He also could soon be awarded Congress's highest civilian honor, the Congressional Gold Medal, making him the first ever hockey player to receive it. We'll talk to him in just one moment, but first, take a look at his story.
Welcoming Mr. Willie O'Ree.
Willie O'Ree didn't set out to be the first. He just had a passion for hockey. Born in 1935 as the youngest of 13, the Canadian athlete faced an uphill battle in the sport he loved. The NHL says they didn't have a rule that prohibited blacks from joining the league, but no black player had ever made the cut until Willie.
Started skating at the age of 3, started playing organized hockey at the age of 5. When I was 14 years of age, I decided I wanted to become a professional hockey player.
That dream seemed almost unattainable when he was struck in the eye with a hockey puck in a junior game, an injury that left him completely blind in his right eye.
I kept it a secret. I didn't tell them. So I just told myself, I said, forget about what you can't see and concentrate on what you can see.
But 2 years later, in 1958, O'Ree joined the Boston Bruins more than 10 years after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Willie would go on to play 45 games in the NHL over 2 seasons, retiring from professional hockey in 1979.
I didn't realize that at that time that I had broke barriers and opened doors for other, not only black players, but players of color.
His breakthrough, like that of many black pioneers in the 50s, was met with overt racism. Hockey fans taunted him with racial slurs in arenas across the country.
You have to take a lot. Being the first color player, I've heard a few jeers like that, but I guess all hockey players.
After retiring from hockey, Willie continued the fight to diversify a league that was still mostly white, joining the NHL in 1998 as a diversity ambassador. Turn around! He played a major role in building and supporting more than 30 nonprofit youth programs for hockey across North America.
If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right. And there's a lot of truth to that. So you boys and girls can do anything you set your mind to do.
In 2018, he was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. His work and his legacy paving the way for black players not just to play in the NHL, but to reach stardom in a league that was once exclusively white. Willie O'Ree,
Yeah, man. Before we finish that, because I definitely want to hear from Willie O'Ree. I mean, I wanted to play that because we don't play hockey. Our peoples don't. And it's a shame because I mean it's a real cool sport. I know the typical stereotypical stuff that's going to be said. Oh, we don't like that ice shit, cold, and we don't skate and all that shit. That's a lie. I mean, when I was doing my research on Willie O'Ree and other black hockey players, I mean, the history runs deep. So of course, Willie O'Ree is kind of considered the Jackie Robinson, breaking a lot of colored barriers in NHL. So he's going to garner a lot of attention. But I mean, it's literally starting to become just a normal sport, and it's good to see. It's good to, and that's what NHL they need. They need the diversity in there. I mean, of course, you're going to get your Canadian players. That's Canadian sport. That's Canada sport, hockey. You're going to get your European players. A lot of cold European places, they play hockey. But, kind of similar to baseball, it's going to take a minute. And I thought about what's the reason why. And then you think about, you know, in certain neighborhoods, especially you know, predominantly black neighborhoods, there's basketball, there's football. Pretty much about it. Every now and then you'll see some baseball fields, but you know, even when I was growing up in Kansas City, I played baseball growing up. But you don't see a lot of there's not a lot of hockey rinks in the inner city. You know what I'm saying? It's not a and I think it's the reason why you don't see a lot of black players playing hockey is because they're just not exposed to it. You know, you don't know what you don't know. Period. So, you know, as you saw in the piece, you know, Willie O'Ree is doing his best to be an ambassador to expose a lot of minorities and different type of ethnicities to the sport of hockey, and it's great because it's necessary. You know, you never know. I mean, it could possibly be another avenue for some of these young athletes. You never know. So, man, I just hope that the sport can grow. I mean, I was a big fan of PK Subban. You know, he's been in the league for a while. Wayne Simmons, uh, I, I think he's still playing for the Flyers. You know, Jerome McGinley. I was a big Jerome McGinley fan. Uh, I mean, you can go down the list of literally of all the great black hockey players. I mean, y'all remember John Saunders, right? He used to do on ESPN kind of one of those see man, come on, man. Cold, ice, plus skates, I'll pass. Oh man, what's up, Memoir? Shout out to Memoir. Y'all go make sure y'all go on over to uh I didn't forgot the damn podcast. I did smoke tonight. No, Man Down Podcast Network. That's the name of his podcast. We done many collaborations. Oh, Mel, keep an eye out. You got a championship belt coming your way. I shipped that joint off today. So keep your eyes peeled for that thing. All right. Mel's feeling himself right now because my man didn't won 3 fantasy leagues. And then he won the I.O.W. Sports Network Championship belt for the NFL Pick'em for this year. So your man's he's on a high horse right now. He's feeling real good about himself. So I'm you know, if you know Melvin Wall, he'll go ahead and, you know, pat himself on the back. He'll toot his little horn. We just let him do it, you know, because hey. You already made room. You already made room on the wall, dog. Hey man, hey, I ain't gonna hate, dog. You did a fantastic job this year. You pretty much held the lead throughout the whole regular season, all 18 weeks. Was able to maintain his lead. So hey, I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. But congratulations to Melvin Wall again being the I.O.W. Sports second year champion. This is just the first time that we actually got a belt for it. I was the original champ. You dethroned me. I came in last place. I'm a little upset that I came in last place, but besides the point. But no, I was saying John Saunders. Y'all remember John Saunders? He used to work for ESPN. God rest his soul. He was a big time hockey player in college. But I mean, it's just like any other sport. Hockey's been slowly to get integrated. I mean, if anybody has paid attention, even last year, Tampa Bay Lightning ran a whole shift with all black players on the line. So I mean, it's slowly getting there. Is it where it's at, where it's supposed to be? No, I don't think so. But that kind of speaks to, you know, and I don't want to, you know, get too crazy off into this conversation, but I mean, we got to speak on certain things when it comes to, you know, minorities in sports. Obviously, football, almost like 75% black players. And you got right now you got one black head coach. There's a disparity right there. Like, to me, that doesn't make sense. How can you sit here, be a multi-billion-dollar company in the NFL, have all these black athletes, but you don't want to hire the head coaches, or you don't want to hire the GMs, or you don't want to hire, or you don't want to let a seat at the table at the owners' table. That's the biggest one. There's minority owners. Shad Khan, I think Ziggy Wolf out in Minnesota. But when you have a 75% population, or all your athletes are 75% of them are black, and you have no representation in the front office, I mean, what are we really doing? And this is one thing that kind of irritates me a little bit with the NFL. You have all this, in racism, and these symbolic paintings in the end zone, on your decals on the helmet, Black Lives Matter, and well, how much do they matter? Do they only matter when your ratings is through the roof on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday? Do they only matter when all that TV revenue is coming in, merchandise sales? Because I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but NFL ain't even. Hey, Mel. Hey, if you in the studio, man, I'll send you the link, because I honestly, I think this is a conversation that needs to be had. Because I mean, you're talking about it, and sometimes, and as much as I love the NFL, and I might be a little hypocritical. I call it. I'll be 100 about it, because I love watching the NFL. Maybe I'm feeding into the hypocrisy. I possibly am. I mean, you see it right now. I got a Chiefs hat on. Oh yeah, Wally World. I'll be on till for at least another 40 minutes. So if you get back to the studio, just let me know, and we could definitely hit the link and have this conversation, because I think it's something that needs to be had. It's crazy. I mean, you look at the numbers, especially with NFL, man. They're making money hand over fist. They are. They're making money hand over fist. But where's it at, though? Where is the actual action of saying that the NFL is actually being progressive? At some point, let's not just have all the symbolic shit of Black Lives Matter and racism, do this, do that. Where's the actual? And I get there's going to be players that's going to have their own little organizations, charitable things that they do, and that's great. That's awesome. I love it when the players get involved with the community and want to uplift it and show that they can, do something great with it. But I want it to be not just the players. I want it to be that message throughout the whole NFL system. You know what I'm saying? Like, at what point does it stop becoming symbolism and actually becomes action? I know that the NFL's, they got their little player coalition with Malcolm Jenkins, and at one point, there's a couple of other players that are actually out there trying to change certain, legislative laws, which is dope. But you know what? It's not going to matter unless the actual people who are making the calls, the owners. Let's just be honest. You have 32 guys who are billionaires. Correct that. 31. Green Bay's kind of they got a weird system with their owner system. It's kind of like shareholders through a whole bunch of people. So 31 owners. And I think the only way that certain things can get passed is when you got those 31 owners who have influence, who have the cachet, who have the connections, who have the deep pockets. The change got to start with them. Because, I mean, you're benefiting off the back of a lot of these black athletes. And I'm not saying they're all black. No, the NFL's not all black. But I'm just saying, when you have all this symbolism everywhere in race and Black Lives Matter, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's stop talking about it. Let's be about it. Same with the NHL, MLB, NBA, all of them, all these billion-dollar sports entities. At one point, does it stop being symbolism? So hopefully Melvin Wall joins me, because I know he would definitely be a great talking piece on that. I want to get back to this interview with Willie O'Ree. But and I gotta say this, it's long overdue why they retiring this number. It may not mean anything, but to some people may not mean something, but it means something to me. Because I like watching hockey. And sometimes I'm like, man, I wish we had more representation. I wish we had more people that look like me. It's just a thought. It's just a feeling. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's hear what Mr. O'Ree had to say.
Congratulations on this high honor, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. It certainly is a pleasure to be here.
So first things first, I'm just curious that back in the 40s and 50s, what drew you to hockey as a young man?
Well, actually, when I was 14 years of age, I decided I wanted to play professional hockey. And I made 2 goals for myself: to play professional hockey and hopefully one day to play in the National Hockey League. I worked at it, and then when I left my home when I was 17 years of age to go up to Quebec to play my first year junior, and then I played my second year junior, turned pro in 1956. But I had a burning desire within myself that I wanted to be a professional hockey player, and I worked towards it.
And take us back in particular to 1958. You were 22 years old and you become the first Black NHL player ever. Did you feel the magnitude and weight of the history at that moment and realize the impact that you would have?
Not really. I was playing professional hockey in Quebec City with the Quebec Aces. We were affiliated with the Bruins, and then the Bruins called the Quebec Aces and said, we want O'Ree to meet the Bruins in Montreal to play 2 games against the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday night, the 18th, and then on Sunday, the 19th. I was sat down with the coach, Mil Schmidt, and the general manager, Lynn Patrick, and they just said, Willie, we brought you up because we think you can add a little something to the team. I didn't realize I broke the color barrier until I read it in the paper the next morning. It really meant a lot to me. At the time, I was just so excited that I got the opportunity to play in the National Hockey League and with the Boston Bruins.
That's dope.
And of course, it is Martin Luther King Day, and we're reflecting on the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s, right as you were making history. Tell us about the racism that you did endure during those early years, and also how you coped.
I bet he had to endure it a lot.
Well, thanks to my older brother, who was my brother Richard, who was not only my brother and my friend, but he was my mentor. And he taught me a lot of things that I would need to know about if I was going to choose hockey as a career. And he just said, Willie, just forget about the racism and the prejudice and the bigotry and the ignorance. He says, if people can't accept you for the individual that you are, because at the time I had the skills and the ability to play in the league. But I got it from the fans, the racial remarks and slurs from the opposing players. But I just let it went in one ear and out the other. I knew if I fought every time somebody called me a name, that I'd
be fighting all day.
So it was hard. It was hard at the beginning, but later on, I did gain the respect of not only the fans in the stands,
But
but
the
the players
players.
on the opposition.
Yep.
And what does it mean to you now to have your number retired by the Bruins and to also be on the verge of being awarded with a congressional gold medal?
I have been blessed over the years, and some of the wonderful things that are happening to me, and the wonderful people that I am coming in contact with. It's overwhelming, and I'm just thrilled. I'm just thrilled to death.
And we did mention in the piece that you lost sight in your right eye before you went into the NHL. Doctors had advised you to quit the sport, but you kept at it, persevered. How much of a challenge was that for you, and why did you decide to keep it a secret?
Well, first of all, back then, none of the players wore any helmets, no face shields, no cages, nothing to protect your face. And, you're playing out there and sticks and pucks are flying around. And I just happened to be in front of the net. There was a slap shot. A deflection, the puck come up and struck me in the right eye, broke my nose, broke my cheek, and I remember dropping down to the ice, and the next thing I knew, I was placed in an ambulance and taken to the hospital. Dr. Henderson was the surgeon, and I'm in my recovery room.
Wow. I'm pausing right there because, I mean, listen to what this man is saying, man. That's powerful. I mean, just to endure. I mean, he had to deal with the same shit Jackie Robinson had to deal with. People probably throwing stuff at you, calling you all kind of racial slurs, and you got to have some thick skin and just let it go in one ear and one out the other ear. And man, that's big. That's heavy. I personally don't even know how how to block that out. I mean, me personally. I lived in Iowa for 4 years when I was in high school. And there's not a lot of people that at the time, there wasn't a lot of people that looked like me out there. So I dealt with, people saying shit and whispering and that. But, and just like Willie has said, once people saw him play, a lot of that stuff didn't even matter. Got the respect of the fans, respect of the players. And it was the same thing for me. Once people got to know me, they was like, you a cool dude. And I'm not saying that to brag. This is just what people are saying. Like, yo, you a stand-up cat, and I believe I am. So, man, I can't even imagine even back then in the 50s and 60s dealing with that. You're talking about right in the middle of civil rights movement that he's breaking barriers like this. Like, I can't even imagine the stuff he had to deal with. But man, it goes to the bigger picture where it don't matter what you look like. It's, do you got the skills? Or are you that type of person that can add, not just skill wise, be a great addition to the sport, but can you be an ambassador to the sport? So man, shout out to Willie. Man, this is compelling stuff right here. So let's get back to the rest of the interview because and I do want to point out, like, how badass is that? How badass is that the man lost sight in his right eye back when hockey wasn't no helmets, no protective gears? What's up? What's up, Corey Chin? What's up, my brother? Hey man, I'm glad to know you alive, my man. I'm glad to know that everything's all right in Dallas Cowboys Nation, man. But I ain't gonna harp on you. I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm pretty sure you got enough calls and texts and messages on social media, so I ain't gonna beat down on you, brother. So I ain't gonna beat down on you, my man. I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you live. But man, Corey, we just kind of talking about Willie O.W. right now. Him kind of being the Jackie Robinson National Hockey League and breaking all kind of barriers and stuff. And man, this is some compelling stuff. So we don't get back to the rest of this interview right here.
And the doctor comes in and says, Mr. Ray, he says, I'm sorry to inform you, the impact of the puck completely shattered the retina in your right eye and you're going to be blind and you'll never play hockey again. And within the next 5 weeks, I'm back on the ice skating and practicing. The thing is that being a left-hand shot and playing left wing to compensate, I had to turn my head all the way around to the right to pick the puck. So I just said, forget about what you can't see and concentrate on what you can see. So my game picked up and the season ends and I go back to my hometown. when I got back to my hometown, my parents had thought that I'd recovered from my injury because had been back playing and practicing. They said, "Oh, thank God, he's all right. He's regained the sight in his eye." But I was totally blind, and I never told my parents. I told my younger sister, Betty, and I swore her to secrecy. I said, "Sis, don't say anything, because if they find out that I'm blind,
They ain't gonna let you play.
I won't play pro hockey, and I definitely won't be able to play in the National Hockey League."
What a secret to have to keep all that time. But in the end, making those 2 goals, getting a checkbox next to both of them. I'm just curious, why do you think the diversity is so lacking in hockey?
There are more black girls and black boys and players of color playing hockey today than ever before. So
Yeah.
We're going in the right direction. And, I've been with the program for now going on about 24 years since I first started. And I have noticed a big influx of boys and girls coming into play.
Well, Willie O'Ree, you are an inspiration to so many. We thank you again for talking with us tonight. Your story really speaks volumes about the possibilities of going for it, even once you lost your sight in the eye. It's really just an impressive story. So thank you.
Yeah, goal setting is very important, Lindsay. It really is. You need to set goals for yourself, and you need to believe in yourself. And
Damn
feel
right.
good about yourself and like yourself. And this is what I try and instill in these boys and girls. You can do anything you set your mind to do. If you feel strongly within your mind and within your heart. And, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you won't. And
You're right.
It's so very true.
Right. There's a quote there. Whether you think you can or can't do something, you are right. Willie O'Ree, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Man, that's dope, man. When you hear about stories like that, man, I can't help but to feel proud of people like Willie O'Ree, man. I mean, shit, hey, man, that's a strong-minded individual right there. To be dealing with so much hate and bigotry in the middle of the civil rights movement and being the first Black player in the NHL. And I like how he ended that interview where the numbers are going up. They may not be skyrocketing up with Black players playing in hockey, but man, it's a good sight to see. But let's transition. It's funny that you hear my man Corey, because your man Dak is under some hot water, and this is the reason why.
Dak, what do you think about the fans doing your balls on the field there comparing as you see that? I think one thing St. Lawrence.
No, I didn't see that. It's sad. I mean, you're talking about a team, you're talking about men that come out each and every day of their lives and give everything to the sport, give everything to this game of football. Nobody wants to succeed more than we want to succeed. I understand fans and the word fan for fanatic. I get that, but to know everything that we put into this day in and day out, try our hardest. Nobody comes in the game wanting or expecting to lose, and for people to react that way when you're supposed to be a supporter and be with us through thick and thin, that's tough.
They were aiming at the referees.
Yeah, they were referees. Well, shit, credit to them then.
That's what
Yeah,
they were doing it.
Oh, credit to them.
Whew, Dak. Yeah, you put yourself in some hot water with that one, buddy. When I first heard that, I didn't really think it was going to be as deep as it was. Was it necessary for him to say it? I don't think it was necessary for him to say it. It's crazy how his tone changed when, he thought that the fans were throwing stuff. Because I saw the clip, and DeMarcus Lawrence was walking off the field, and he had to throw his helmet up to block something that was thrown at him. But his mood changed once the reporter was like, "Well, I think they were aiming at the refs," and he said, "Oh, well, good for them." Hey, I'm surprised that Dak said that, and the reason why I'm surprised that Dak said that, because Dak has been one of those players in the league that has been a real stand-up cat, a real cat that has, of course, he has his charity, his foundation of mental awareness and suicide rates and thoughts like that, because he's dealt with that in his family. His brother unfortunately took his own life. So, I wasn't expecting a comment like that from Dak at all. Just to be quite honest, because that doesn't seem like him to say it. And how the media do. They're gonna take that and they're gonna harp on it. But he did issue an apology today, and I'm gonna read it. He says, "I deeply regret comments I made regarding the officials after the game on Sunday. I was caught up in the emotion of a disappointing loss, and my words were uncalled for and unfair. I hold the NFL officials in the highest regard and have always respected their professionalism and difficulty of their jobs. The safety of everyone who attends a game or participants on the field of a sporting event is a very serious matter. That was a mistake on my behalf, and I am sorry." I'm glad he apologized. And the reason why I'm glad is because you don't want that moment to tarnish of his I don't want to say legacy, but there's people that care about perception, and I don't know Dak personally. So if he feels that that's going to be something that's going to always be brought up, or be something that can stain that people perceive him as, so I'm glad he apologized. But I don't. And here's the thing with the media, I I don't want the media to take just that one moment, because he was highly emotional. Dak didn't play too well. I mean, it's almost similar to when Cam Newton after the Super Bowl loss, and he was getting a lot of criticism. And I think when it comes to the media, I think the media should sometimes give these players a moment to kind of woosah, come down, off that emotional high. I mean, it's almost like a boxer when they've been getting their brains scattered through a boxing match, and sometimes they're too quick to throw a mic in their face, and it's like, well, I got scrambled eggs up here. Like, let me get my mental in order and back into a place of normalcy before you start asking me certain questions that are going to possibly trigger some certain emotions and thoughts and feelings. So me personally, give these guys maybe 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Let them woosah, woosah, let them come down some before you start, trying to poke and prod certain questions or emotions out of them. It, it wasn't a good look. I'll be 100% honest about that. I mean, I'm not gonna blow it up like your undisputed first take and all that. I'm not gonna blow it up because, hey, at the end of the day, Dak is a human being. He is just another person in this world that bleeds, that breathes, go out there, make a living for him and his family. He's just like any other person. I mean, who can say that they dealt with some shit outside of work and they weighing heavy on their mental, and then they got to go into work, and then they can get triggered by something that just bursts and turns into an emotional situation. I mean, I've been there. I'm pretty sure anybody listening or watching, they've been there when they've been in a real cloudy state of mind, and you still got to make sure that you got to go to work because you still got to keep the lights on. You still got to keep a roof over you and your family's head. You still got to keep food on the table, clothes on the back, but you're still dealing with all this other emotional stuff. And I get it, y'all. And there's gonna be people say, "Oh, well, he's getting paid $40 million a year. You're not allowed to say stuff." No, I'm not with that logic. Because at the end of the day, Dak is human. He's allowed to have emotions. He's allowed to make mistakes. This was a mistake. It was. It was a mistake. It happens. I mean, it's when people, especially with the media, They differ and they pick and choose when they want to, point fingers and poke and prod and say, bad. Is can we have that across the board? Because my thing is, if they're going to beat Dak down for this, then you need to make sure that you beat down Tom Brady when he's being belligerent to his teammates on the sideline. They better beat him down for that. They better beat down Aaron Rodgers for hey, you, and doing that to his teammates. They better have that same energy. Let's have that same energy across the board. You know what I'm saying? Because there's times where I think Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and certain players may get out of line with, throwing blame and talking reckless. Have that same energy. That's all I'm saying, media. Have that same energy. But let's not beat that down for this one mistake. If you want to beat Dak down of having a poor performance for Sunday, that's fair. He didn't play too well. That's fair. Let's beat him down for not being the best quarterback that day, for his performance on the field. Critique that. But I don't want the media sitting here and critiquing Dak Prescott for having just one mental mishap, because we all have it. I mean, nobody's perfect. Ain't a such thing as a perfect person. If you're a perfect person, you're Jesus. You God. And there's only one of them. So all these people, all these couch critics on social media, don't harp on that man because he had one bad moment. It can't take away from the overall great character that man has displayed since he's been in the league. And I'm not with that. But if you want to critique his play, by all means, critique that man's play on Sunday. But just leave it at that. Because I think that was just one small mistake that man made. It says it's hard to play QB with people consistently in your face or from your ass, period. Hey, you 100. And my man Mel has joined the conversation. So let's bring him on in here because I know my man had he could go deep into this. So welcome, Melvin Wall from the Man Down Podcast. What's up, my brother?
What's good? What's up, man? You always trying to give me these good intros.
Hey, man. Hey, bruh. Hey, I'm a big believer in giving my people their flowers when we can.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah,
man. What's the last thing you was talking about? I heard you say something about quarterbacks.
Yeah, no. Well, Corey's in the comments, and I was just going over Dak's situation with him, and Corey, you want in on it too? I got you, bro. I sent you the invite. We went over his comments Sunday after the game when he was talking about the refs and the fans throwing stuff, and I was just making a point that he's human. He had a lapse in judgment because he was in an emotional state of mind, and he's human, just like everybody else. Like, you got a job, I got a job. We've all been in situations where we're dealing with stuff emotionally, and we might say some shit that we might end up regretting, or you got to come eventually, once you come down, apologize for. But my point is all these couch critics and media outlets, I don't want them to beat that down for just one small mistake that he made, because it doesn't take from his overall character from this man. And if they're going to beat him down for that, they better keep that same energy with Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, when they over there belligerent and doing all this, pointing and talking reckless to people too. So they better have that same energy. That's all I'm saying.
That's interesting, because as soon as he said that, because here's a guy who has no off the field issues. Really, he don't even have no on the field issues.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's just a model citizen and all that stuff. And like you said, that lapse in judgment he had.
Oh, the whole gang is here.
As soon as he said that, it reminded me of after the Super Bowl when Cam Newton
I said that
made
too,
comments similar to that, right? And The NFL got a weird way of putting people back in place, especially black quarterbacks, and showing them, hey, we got to slap your wrist a little bit. You can't do this. And they had a way of showing Cam Newton that following season, and he ain't been the same since, man. And hopefully it don't turn out like that for Dak.
Yeah, that's a fair point. C3, man, what you got to say, brother?
What's up, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I heard the comments, and I think so. The bottles and stuff weren't for the team.
Yeah.
It was for they were being thrown at the refs, which maybe was right.
Yeah.
But what Dak said was, he went on, like, we play this game, we go at this, every day. Nobody wants to win more than us, blah, 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 whatever. He said the politically correct answer. And then one of the sports writers was like, it wasn't at the team, Dak, it was at the refs. And he said, oh, well, good on them.
Yeah.
Good. Good for them, is what he said. And
let me ask you this, Corey. Let me ask you this. In that moment, do you believe it's a good comment to make, bad comment to make? Because my take is, I don't think it was a good comment to make, because he's still in such an emotional state. And he said that in his apology, that, hey, man, I was just in an emotional state of mind. I'm disappointing laws and things like that. So I'm not saying that's an excuse. All I'm saying is that it was just a bad lapse in judgment. And the media can't harp on him too hard from that.
No, I mean, it may have been a bad lapse in judgment, right? But at the same time, Lamar, it's not gonna help him. If you think they were tic-tacking on calls with the Cowboys this year, you wait till next year.
That's a fair point.
They have a way of getting even. You understand what I'm saying? Cam Newton made those comments. There was no apology. There was no nothing, right? And they let the Broncos tee off on his ass the entire game, the first game of the season, the next year.
That's similar to what Mel is saying.
Yeah,
they find a way. They find a way to get even with you,
right? And that's something that, like, Dak's apology was probably sincere, somewhat. You know what I mean? But it was a frustrating thing, and I know he was frustrated with the umpire, with the spotting on the ball at the end of the game, and then with the play where he stood in front of him and let him get a delay of game penalty on a 3rd and 1 that turned into a 3rd and 6. And then the very next play, Connor Williams had a false start, and that turned into a 3rd and 11.
Yeah.
Right? And that's frustrating. I get it. You know what I mean? But I think the better thing to do is to talk about that in the locker room and not bring it out, to the media. Because when you do stuff like that, you just open up a can of worms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you don't do.
Yeah, I hear you. Anything you want to add to that, Mel?
Nah, I mean, it ain't a big deal to me, to be honest with you. I just don't want them to try to do him, like they did Cam. But to me, it ain't no big deal, man. He was frustrated. Like he handled the question. He filled the question a little, pretty textbook at first, and then that curveball was thrown at him when he was like, "Hey, they threw that at the refs," and then that was just his initial reaction to it. And if he would have had time to think about it in his head like he had the question before that, because I'm pretty sure he was expecting them to ask that type of question, or ask that question about them throwing the stuff on the field. I'm pretty sure he was ready for that, but the curveball he wasn't ready for.
Hey, that's a fair statement, because I'm under the belief, because I agree with you 100%, man. Dak has been a model citizen 100%. I mean, the man has pretty much no flaws. He's not being, seeing, drunk driving or doing anything reckless and getting arrested and being just a mischievous dude. I mean, I'm under belief that had he had chance to kind of woosah, kind of chance to just kind of ease his mental, he probably wouldn't even said that. He probably would said like next question or find a real PC way to go about that. So it's hard sometimes, man, because I mean, and Mel, you touched on it a lot of times. It's crazy how the media picks and choose when they want to scrutinize. You know what I'm saying? And they pick and choose, and and that's what I'm saying. Have it across the board. Have that same energy with all quarterbacks. Don't sit there and just don't dig on this man for this. It's one lapse in judgment. I mean, there's a million lapse in judgment that I'm sure Tom Brady has had that's been caught on camera, and probably a million of them that ain't been caught on camera. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man. My man Corey, man, I'm just happy to see you in good spirits, man. I was gonna leave you alone, but now you're here, dog. I mean, so for the last 9 minutes of the show, man, just talk to us, talk to the audience. What the hell happened, man?
Tell us about how technically those Chiefs got blown to smithereens.
So, my explanation, or my attempt to have an explanation for the game is, first of all,
my bad. That was the Cheeks.
So that's so questionable. So questionable. Is you can't overcome 14 penalties in a playoff game. That's the NFL record.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's crazy.
And you have right, and that's the crazy part about it is that just shows you like what kind of talent that they do have. But you have to be disciplined. You have to be, and the undisciplined part is from that's coaching staff. That is instilled in players from the beginning. That's instilled in them from off season, into training camp, in the regular season, and on to the playoffs. This is normal behavior, right? Mm-hmm. And I wrote a post on Facebook because this dude was like, you should be able to overcome 14 penalties. I'm like, first of all, the game should have been 30-6.
Yeah.
It should have been, but they're going off talent alone, right? Mm-hmm. That's what, and the Cowboys are one of those teams that they're playing off talent alone. You have a coaching staff that obviously has no control over the players on the field. Mm-hmm. Jimmy let them son of a guns run wild off the field. They were in trouble all the time. But Jimmy cut players that couldn't run wind sprints, right? Mm-hmm. You fumble, you getting benched. You drop a pass, you getting benched. You run the wrong route, you getting benched. Quarterback throw a pick, you finna get cussed out when you come to the sideline. You throw too many of them, we might find another one. You know what I mean? He did that in Miami. You throw 3-4 picks in the game, man. Hey, we might bring somebody in here. You know what I mean? You get a penalty, that's a fine. You get an unsportsmanlike conduct or a personal foul called against you, or do something just stupid, right? You getting fined double. You know what I mean? Like, these are the kind of things. Brian Flores was doing the same thing in Miami. I read a bunch of comments like they didn't like the way he disciplined people. You know what I mean? Like, but that's you have to uphold these standards, and you got to mess with people's pocketbooks, and they'll start making them mistakes, right?
Big time.
Two defensive holding penalties on run plays. I've never seen that in football.
Never.
I've played football since I was 10 years old. I have never seen a defensive holding on a run play. I saw 2 from the same player yesterday, and they were blatant.
Yeah.
Plus, he jumped off sides twice, too.
Randy Gregory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But these are things, right? So nobody, when you come off the field, nobody's telling you anything, right?
Yeah.
You just coming and sitting over on the sideline like everything is cool, right? You have to be able to have some sort of standards on your team that these players have to meet. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it has to be. And if you just got a bunch that's just running around there in a free fall, like, Belichick don't put up with no shit like that. Andy Reid don't put up with no shit like that. Bruce Arians, you see, he don't put up with no shit like
Bruh,
that. You saw that.
Hey, that man
Put
had
up
a
with no,
partially torn Achilles and is trying to get his player back. He like, bruh,
bro.
stop. You got the
Put
cost
up,
us 15 yards.
bro. You don't put up with no shit like that. And then the shit with AB, like that dude is no longer here. Well, he haven't been cut yet. He has now. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not putting up with no shit like that. I'm not putting up with grown men doing stupid shit. I'm not doing it. You grown. Do your job. If you don't do your job, we'll get somebody in here to replace you.
So let me ask you this, Mel. Does that speak to the bigger thing, the bigger issue in Dallas? Is there is not, because it seems like it's not a player issue. The talent's there.
Nah, so I was the last 2 years, maybe the last 3 years. I mean, I've been real critical of Dallas, man. I've been paying a little bit of attention to him, and my critique went deeper than football. I'm me and Corey going back and forth about if Dak got hard, if Dak is a leader and all this stuff. And, we talking about how Jerry's shadow is overbearing and all that stuff. All that stuff, it is what it is, man. They played phenomenal football this season. All the things the last 3 years I've been questioning Dak for, he showed all that stuff, man. I ain't got no more questions for this dude. He earned his paycheck. The only thing that really went wrong with this team is they lost their run game. And we knew Zeke was hurt. We knew he had the knee brace on. We knew he wasn't the same. But then we found out partially torn MCL, he was, and remember, Corey, I said, hey, man, do you think this is something that's on the level of what Gurley was dealing with? And you was like, nah, it's just a sprained knee. Dude was playing with a tear. And
it's a tear.
And yeah,
it's
so the same thing Gurley was doing, where he was trying to pretend like he wasn't hurt, and they had him on the field and wasn't giving him no carries. Remember that?
With that same knee brace on.
Right. Was it the championship or the Super Bowl when he did it?
No, it was in the game they played against the Cowboys.
Yeah, that divisional game. Yeah.
It was at a divisional game.
Oh,
he
right.
only because what's his name was the one that carried the load. Mike Henderson.
Yeah.
Mike Henderson was the one that carried the load. Gurley came in and kind of played a little bit, but you know what I'm saying?
Decoy.
Yeah, but there's the decoy. Yeah.
Yeah. So
agreed.
Hindsight being 2020, now we see it's almost identical situations. You got a Super Bowl team that's a contender, and then your daggone ace in the backfield he ain't even supposed to be out there.
So here's my question, Mel, and I guess I don't even think it's a rebuttal. I think it's kind of an add-on to what you're saying. If you know this, right, and we're in a playoff game, a win, take all, everything, right? Like, we not going. There's no next week. There's no tomorrow. Why does Tony Pollard only get 3 carries?
Which goes to my question. I think it's the players, and I'm saying, look at Mike McCarthy. Yeah, he got the Super Bowl win in Green Bay.
Right.
He had Brett Favre. He had Aaron Rodgers, and then in that championship team in 2010 with Green Bay, they had studs on both sides of the ball. And
they were a good team.
Mike McCarthy, to me, is one of those coaches that your team is going to be like, I know they whisper in the locker room like, yo, this dude don't know what the hell he doing, dog. Like, we just got to ball out because he about to do some silly shit. And he's going to
remember Lamar, Aaron Rodgers went completely left on him in the media.
Yeah. They were divorcing. They were divorcing in the middle of the season, dog.
He went bad on him in the media, and I was like, damn, they let the quarterback do this to the head coach, right? And then I'm like, yo, like, Rodgers better be careful. But they got rid of McCarthy. They was not finna get rid of Aaron Rodgers. That was a given, right?
Yeah.
But, like, there is a disconnect somewhere. And, like, I don't know if it's a philosophy or what, because Mike McCarthy never took away Kellen Moore's responsibility as the play caller, nothing. And, like, yesterday, you have a blitz-heavy San Francisco 49ers team. That's what they do. They apply pressure. They'll hit you with the front four, but they're gonna send the outside linebacker in. You know what I mean? They're gonna do their best to disrupt whatever the hell you're trying to do, right? Yet the Cowboys called not one slant or one screen. And somebody was telling me, like, okay, well, whose responsibility is to call the play? The damn offensive coordinator. Like, you want the quarterback to audible into something, right? That obviously wasn't in the game plan. It wasn't. You can't auto. You come into a play. You come into not a playoff game. You come into any football game, and this is high school, college, semi-pro. You know what I mean? Whatever. We got a playbook of about 70 plays, right? And so you figure an NFL team probably with an extended offensive playbook, not the New England Patriots, but I'm talking about like an extensive offensive playbook, probably like the Cowboys have. You probably go into a season with about 150 plays. You go into a game plan, you picking whatever plays it is. Like, your whole book is not your game plan, right? You picking 20, 30 plays out of this thing that we're gonna run. We're potentially gonna run. We might run 15 of them, right? 15. If it's a game where like we winning or something, we might try out some shit and run 20, right? I probably got about 5 or 6 audibles out of those 20 plays that I got, right? Those are my audibles. And this is the game plan that we putting in. And the coaches, everybody goes through the game plan. They present it to the players, like, this is the game plan for this week. And this is the reason why, because their defense does this, and this, and we're going to counter it with this, and this.
Counterpunch.
If you've been watching San Francisco the last 6 weeks of the season, right? I mean, I was in California and in Texas, right? So we get Frisco games in California, right? You got to watch them. So they apply pressure, right? And the quickest way to slow down a pass rush is running quick passes, screens, or slants. Yep. How do you not have any of those in your playbook, in your game plan? Excuse me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Listen, man. Like football, man, and going through it through a week and being like, I've been doing this for a long time and going through it and playing quarterback and just understanding the position, right? These game plans, right? If I know we playing a blitz heavy team, right? Like if I know the San Antonio Knights are playing the Houston Ducks, right? Houston Ducks are a blitz heavy team. We gonna have some screens and some slants in this game plan because I'm finna stop you from doing what you good at.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm finna stop you from doing what you're good at. You can keep blitzing me if you want to. I throw this screen pass, you're gonna give up another 35-yard play. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to hear it, man. Like, this is all preparation, right?
Yeah.
Your defensive ends, right? Like San Francisco has a great book end in Nick Bosa. He is a great book defensive end. He is excellent at what he does. He rushes the quarterback, probably top 3 in the NFL, right? This dude is good. Lael Collins lays him out on the first play of the game. So what do? They start twisting it. And the Cowboys don't adjust to it.
Yeah.
Even on the play he got knocked out, he was home.
Yeah, he was there.
he's home. You know what I'm saying? He knocked himself out getting home. And I'm like, how in the hell are you not seeing this twist? Yeah. Your dumbass guards, and this is Zach Martin included, the all-pro, right?
Yeah.
Is just running with the defensive tackle over to the outside. And this dude is constantly looping right up the middle. And the center is just standing there like, what do I do, George? You know what I'm saying? And this dude is blowing into the backfield. But y'all want Dak to stand back there like a statue and be accurate. Get the hell out of here. Be reasonable. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to look at the entire picture, right?
So let me ask you this, and then I'm gonna ask one more question. We're gonna get up out of here. So Corey, you being a Cowboys fan, how long do y'all stick with Mike McCarthy?
He's gone now.
In your opinion?
Right. He's not gonna go anywhere because he's a great puppet man. You see that Jerry will hold on he held on to Jason Garrett for far too long. Right?
Too long.
Here's another thing about that, right? If they divorce, right? They divorce from Mike McCarthy, right? Your next head coach, I would want it to be somebody like Brian Flores to come in and instill a no bullshit attitude into the team. Like, I'm not finna take this shit from y'all. You know what I'm saying? You come out here on this field and you be ready to play.
Yeah.
Right? 100%. You be ready to play. The head coach is going to be I promise you that the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys will be Kellen Moore.
And y'all gonna be stuck in the same shot. Y'all gonna be stuck in the same cycle, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
and just to add on to that, and because I 100% agree that the Cowboys need a coach like Brian Flores that's going to instill discipline. My only kickback on that is that the same thing that Jimmy had the same attitude Brian was, as in discipline, and him and Jerry just couldn't get on one accord.
So here's the thing, and I've read too many books about that shit. You know what I'm saying? About Jimmy and Jerry's relationship. Jimmy and Jerry's relationship went bad over one conversation. And you talking about two stubborn ass old men, right? In an office, right? And they're having a conversation.
Him and Bill Parcells couldn't get along either.
They couldn't get along either. And this is what it was. Jimmy had control of everything. He had control of the draft. He had control of his roster. He had control of everything, right? Jerry got to the point after you win a couple of Super Bowls and you knock down a couple of $5,000 bottle of scotch. You know what I'm saying, right? And Jerry would tell you they were drunk. He said, I was drunk when we had this conversation. He said he didn't even really remember the conversation when Jimmy was packing his shit. Like, where the hell are you going? Like, no, motherfucker, you want me up out of here? I'm gone. Jerry wanted control of the entire situation. Jimmy wanted control of the entire situation. Jerry told him, I'm going to control the draft. I'm going to draft these players. And Jimmy was like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my football team, right? Yeah. You are the owner. This is my football team. I'm the one that got to coach these people out here on the football field. Yeah. You are going to put in play what I want you to put in play, right? And that way, because remember, Jimmy had Russell Maryland, Troy Aikman, that whole damn offensive line, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith. Jimmy was controlling these drafts, right? And he put this puzzle together, and he put it, Ken Norton Jr. Mm-hmm. He put this piece of the puzzle together, right? And they won Super Bowls, and then they figured out, oh, damn, we kind of lacking on one side because they could not cover Sterling Martin when Green Bay beat them. They couldn't cover it, right? So they said, okay, what do? Go out and get motherfucking Dion. You know what I'm saying? Cover your ass now. You know what I mean? So he was putting these pieces of the puzzle together, and he was excellent at it, right? But he wanted control. Jerry was like, nope, can't do that. He fires him, right? Well, Jimmy just walked out, right? They went through a long period. They won a Super Bowl the next season.
With Switzer, yep.
With Barry Switzer, right? Yep. They won it with Barry Switzer.
Still Jimmy's team.
It's Jimmy's team, right?
Yeah.
But them draft picks that they picked up didn't really do nothing. You still got this team, right? Then all of a sudden, the wheels kind of start to fall off of it. They go for a long time, not even making the playoffs. Bill Parcells comes in. Parcells says, I want control. I want control. Parcells brings his people in, right? They ain't really got no superstars. Just got my people. I mean, they went to the playoff. They went to the playoffs and damn near won a playoff game with Quincy Carter. With Quincy Carter quarterback.
I remember that,
right? So Bill comes in and says, look, okay, I've already showed you I can win football games. That ain't the problem. I won football games with this sorry ass team you got right now. I need control. I need this draft. You know what I'm saying? I need this. You can be the general manager. That's fine. But I need control of this draft. I need to be in here when you make these kind of decisions, right? Jerry was like, no. Bill said, I'm going to holler at you.
Deuces.
He's gone, right?
Yeah.
The owner has his place. You the one banking all the damn money. We know you in control. Sit your ass up in that box. Go sit your ass down and do what you're supposed to do. Look pretty and watch. Just sign checks. Look pretty and sign checks. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. The Cowboys still don't have a real general manager. They don't.
It's Jerry. It's Jerry.
It's Jerry. Remember, before they drafted Zach Martin, I believe it was. Was it Zach Martin? I believe it was Zach Martin. Jerry wanted Johnny Manziel.
He did, yeah.
His son had to talk him off the list. His son has been making these draft picks, and his son has obviously been doing his homework, right? Obviously, because
talking about Steven.
His Micah Parsons, all these signings in the last few years have been pretty good. You know what I mean? Like they haven't really had a bad draft in a couple of years. CeeDee Lamb fell in their lap. You know what I mean? Tony Pollard, they obviously did their homework with him. Cat can run, right?
Yeah.
These things are happening because Steven is the one telling his daddy, sit your ass down. You know what I mean? Like, I got this, sit your ass down. But the Cowboys, until they get a head coach, right? And I don't think Steven is going to be any different. I really don't. But until they have a head coach where they come in and they give the reins to the head coach and somebody sits up there and just trust that this dude is going to lead us to a victory and not stick your big ass paws in it. Like, this is the Cowboy team you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a yes man as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It has to be, or it's not going to work with the owner.
Damn.
And, you know, like if the owner come down and treat the coach like shit, you know what I'm saying? What the players going to think? They're going to be like, man, this dude ain't shit, man. I got this. You know what I mean? There's no accountability on the sideline. People fuck up. There's nobody in your face. There's nobody like, yo, you sit your ass down. Your privileges for the day are done. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody doing that. You just fuck up and go back on the field.
Damn, that's gonna put your franchise in this vicious cycle year in and year out, man. But last question, I'm gonna get you fellas up out of here. Mel, of the remaining teams, which one you see them holding up the Lombardi, man?
I think Green Bay, but I'm nervous with them playing San Fran. So if they get past San Fran, then I think Green Bay might be my favorite. But I think San Fran, you know how some teams might just be just perfectly suited to beat certain teams. I think Green Bay is there for San Francisco is there for Green Bay, and I think Buffalo is there for Kansas City. But if Kansas City gets past Buffalo, they will be in the Super Bowl. If Green Bay gets past San Francisco, they'll be in the Super Bowl. I don't think Tampa Bay got anything for Green Bay this season, but San Francisco do.
That's hey, fair statement. Same question, Corey. Who you see holding up the Lombardi into this postseason, man?
Green Bay. I don't think San Francisco got nothing for him. Nick Bosa gonna be out, concussion protocol. That's 10 days.
Yeah, if Nick Bosa out, man, it's gonna be
10 days.
It's gonna be tough. Yeah.
Fred Warner got a high ankle sprain. He's already questionable.
Yeah.
They have to be at full guns. You know what I mean? Their offense is predicated on the run, right?
Big time.
Green Bay will not make 14 penalties and let you off the field 10 of 13 first downs. They're just not going to do that, right? They'll get off the field, right? And you putting the ball into Aaron Rodgers with no Nick Bosa, right, and no Fred Warner in the middle. They're gonna do whatever they want to do.
And this is what surprised me about that Dallas game, because you look at the strength of Dallas offense is their wide receivers, and the weakness of San Francisco is their cornerbacks, their secondary.
The secondary, right?
And Dallas took no advantage of that. That ain't gonna be the same way with Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is gonna kill that secondary. So
listen, they will slow Aaron Rodgers. Their entire game plan will be predicated on quick passes, right? Getting the ball out of their hands until you slow that pass rush and get them to stuttering and trying to time when he's gonna throw the ball, and then they'll start to push the ball down the field. And they're gonna run the ball too. You're gonna get that 250-pound back. You're gonna get him leaning on you, and then they're gonna skirt in this little 185-pound dude that just be darting all over the field. Bro, it's too smart. You know what I'm saying? They're too smart to let that happen.
Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon is one hell of a backfield combination.
That's a
you get the lightning
punch.
and the thunder. Yeah, you get the lightning and the thunder.
Like
big time.
And I don't and the thing about it is that they don't play great defense, but they play solid defense. They stay at home. They don't get caught with crazy looking plays and stuff. And San Francisco kind of got a lot of gadget plays, you know what I mean? But they don't because they try to free up things. And like Mel said earlier, try to take the game out of Jimmy Garoppolo's hands.
Oh, you got to. He almost blew that game. That man almost blew that game.
What they're going to force him to do is they're going to say, okay, Jimmy, you finna have to beat us. And he can't do that.
Yeah, I feel y'all on that. Well, man, I appreciate you fellas hopping on late night. Man, because I know y'all just did y'all show. I came in late. I forgot y'all boys was on tonight. But again, everybody, C3, Corey Chin, Melvin Wall, part of the Man Down Podcast Network. Y'all definitely check them out every Tuesday. They got a great product over there. We done many collabs with I.O.W. and Man Down Podcast. So, man, fellas, I appreciate y'all hopping on, man.
Salute.
And that's our show today, y'all. Hey, we'll be back here same time, same midnight hour, same wild card mark. Y'all have yourself a wonderful, wonderful fucking evening. Deuces.
Let's get it. Let's go. Yeah. Alright, let me get serious this time. Yo, I'm on my God of War shit. All the war spits, let the bass kick, nigga, feel the fucking floor lip. Watch your pores rip from these razor blade fingertips. Smoke hit your face like a hammer fist. Outstanding with suicidal flow. Nose diving to a free fall. Speedball, cannonball, jugging out on Adderall. I just watch the bodies fall. Supercharged like Dragon Ball. When I spit this fire out my mouth, you hear the dragon's call. Deadly with explosive, nip just off of this and woven silk. Grind the rapper's flesh.